Greetings, fellow Crocubots. Tiki here.
And Jacob Wile too.
And welcome to another, I don't know, another crazy Marvel spoofing. I don't know. I'm not on my aim game today, but welcome to another episode of Tiki's Universe, the show where we react and respond to a whole bunch of different animated shows. And today we're talking about Rick and Morty, Season 3, Episode 4, Vindicators 3, Return of the Worldender. All right.
Yeah.
How you doing, Jacob?
Doing all right, but how are you doing?
I've been better. I kind of have a migraine, which, kind of accounts for me not really, I'm kind of like drunk Rick, right? Like migraine Tiki is like, I'm not really on my A game here. But we'll get through it.
At least migraine Tiki doesn't create a death game. Create a death game.
No. Migraine Tiki just wishes he was dead sometimes. It gets that bad. Anyways, fun times. Yeah, so we are talking about Vindicators 3, which is, of course, a parody of Guardians of the Galaxy. Man, I really wish that Dragon was here for this. Like, he just was like, no, Tiki, I don't think I'm going to come on for this. I'm like, really? I mean, this has Christian Slater playing Star-Lord, essentially playing Star-Lord, and he loves Star-Lord. I don't know. Anyways. So yeah, after the animation extravaganza that was Pickle Rick, it was kind of hard to top that in any sense of the word, but I think this episode does a good job. It really stands on its own. It doesn't give too much in the way of plot development or anything else. It does kind of, we're continuing the arc of Morty kind of really turning against Rick. But overall, Jacob, what were your thoughts on this thing?
I think compared to the first two, compared to Rick Shank Redemption and Pickle Rick, I don't think this lives up to those two, but still don't get me wrong, I don't know how many, because I haven't only seen half season 2, I can't say I've ever seen a bad Rick and Morty episode.
I would say the only bad Rick and Morty episode is the Purge episode. I'm just not a fan of that one, but which is from the second half of season 2, yeah.
Well, I haven't seen that, but still, I still haven't seen a horrible Rick and Morty episode. And even this one, I wouldn't call it bad. I'd say this is actually still a very good episode.
I like this episode quite a bit. I think this episode's firing on all cylinders with what I like about this show. We were talking a little bit when we did episode 2, Rick Mancing the Stone, about how one of my least favorite elements of Rick and Morty is when they do straight up parody. That one was Mad Max, and then, of course, I'm not a big fan of the Purge episode. I think the Purge episode is by far the least creative Rick and Morty episode. I gotta say, Jacob, I think this is by far the best straight up parody that Rick and Morty's done. And what I love so much about this episode is how it takes two things that you wouldn't think would go together at all, right? Guardians of the Galaxy and Saw, of all things. And it just works. It just works so well. It's a match made in heaven.
I do agree with you on the parody thing. Of the two parody episodes I've seen, because I haven't seen Goku's Purging Now or whatever the episode's called.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't seen it, but I would say this is definitely the best of the parody episodes.
I'd also throw Anatomy Park in there with the parody episodes.
Yeah, I probably would say this is better than Anatomy Park as well.
Yeah. So I guess let's go through the Vindicators one by one. Let's see. I don't really have the names of them all. I should get the names of them, but I guess let's start with the.
Let's see. I think there's Vance, Ghost Train. I don't know the Star Lady. There's Crocobot and Million Ant-Man.
Million Ant, yeah. Okay, so
I don't know the name of the Star Lady.
I will look that up, Jacob. But so obviously I think we can kind of if we were to place personalities on all these people in terms of the Guardians, obviously Vance is Star-Lord, Million Ant-Man is Groot. I would say Crocubot is either Drax or Rocket. And then I would say the Ghost Train is either Drax or Rocket, and then obviously the Star Lady's obviously Gamora.
That I would have gone, but I would definitely go with Ghost Train being Drax.
That makes sense. That makes sense. And then so Crocubot would be Rocket.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, well,
Actually, no, that does
yes.
make sense that Crocubot would be Rocket, because Rocket's whole thing is that he's like a cybergenetic raccoon. So yeah, that makes sense. Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know. Of course, we'd be remiss. Christian Slater as Vance, the Star-Lord stand-in. Probably my favorite part of the episode. I just, just in terms of how this episode makes fun of Guardians of the Galaxy, I think it does it really well. It has some really, look, I mean, I really like Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. I saw it in theaters 4 times, Jacob. 4 times, all right? I haven't seen a movie in theaters that many times since the original Spider-Man in 2002. So that tells you how much I like Guardians Volume 2.
I only saw it twice.
Right. But
and I loved it.
But yeah, I mean, even with me seeing it 4 times, I mean, I think it's less so the quality of the movies themselves and more so the culture that's kind of come up around the movies. But there are some very clever gags at the franchise in general. I like how I like the line basically like, oh, it's like an hour of them talking and making jokes and then like 20 minutes of them doing flippy shit. I'm like, yeah, that's pretty much a Guardians of the Galaxy movie.
Well, that's also what this series does too.
Sure.
Except not condensed into 20 minutes.
Right. Let's see, what was the other line I really liked from this that kind of directly addressed it? Oh, I just the whole thing of like when he's talking about the Vindicators, he's basically like directly talking about Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. He's like, yeah, you guys came in and you were like the smash hit of the summer, but now you're just outstaying your welcome. I mean, the bit's old, guys. Get over it. You're all basically the same character.
Yeah, weird that this episode was in production like before even 2 could probably even shown.
Yeah, but at the same time, I mean, Volume 2 has been in production since what, like at least 2013, 2014. So, it's.
Well, I mean, the first movie didn't come out until 2014.
Yeah, but then keep it. Well, yeah, that's actually true. So, but I mean, I'm sure Volume 2's been in development for longer than this episode has been in development, though.
Well, yeah, I mean, I'm not denying that.
Yeah. I don't know, and maybe even some of the lines like kind of directly referencing the popularity of the franchise and whatnot. I wouldn't be surprised if some of those were thrown in very late into this episode's development, because keep in mind, of course, one of the big things with this show is the improv-based tone. It's like they can develop an episode, but then, through the improv of the voice recordings, that can kind of shape an episode. So I wouldn't be surprised if something like that along those lines happened here, where this episode's been in the works for longer than the movie, but when Volume 2 came out and it was a really big hit, and it was kind of like, but then there was a little bit of a backlash with Guardians, especially with the Mission Breakout ride, which was, Jacob, that's still a thing that's just divided the Disney fan community in half, is Mission Breakout. And I kind of feel like, in some ways this is sort of, I mean, probably not directly, but I don't know, just the whole, like, it's pretty obvious that Disney theme park fans are not cool with Guardians of the Galaxy and Disney theme parks, just in general. But anyways, I'm kind of getting off topic with this. Yeah, not too much to say about the characters. I mean, they are kind of like just, they are written about as one note as you can possibly get. I like the designs on all of them.
Yeah, I mean, especially the star lady. I still can't remember her name.
God, I'm sorry. Yeah, it's awful when we have to just kind of refer to them as the star lady. I feel so bad. Let me go in and look that up right now.
I mean, especially like her design. It's probably the most creative of the designs.
My favorite is Million Ant-Man.
No, I mean, he's probably my favorite from a concept.
I guess so, yeah. I mean, to tell you the truth, all of them are pretty funny in concept. Like Ghost Train. Ghost Train is basically like Danny Phantom meets John Henry.
That's actually a good way of putting it.
Or Big Henry from Gravity Falls.
Oh God!
Don't go, Big Henry.
Oh, yeah, just had to remind me of that.
That was one of the lamer episodes of Gravity Falls, was the mini golf episode, but the Big Henry scene is kind of like the big standout of that episode. Anyways,
yeah. Have you found her name yet? Have you found out her name yet?
No, I'm sorry, man. Just don't rush me. But
sorry.
No, it's fine. I just need to pull up a new window and kind of calling attention to the fact that we're dumb and don't remember the name.
Well, I got 4 of them. I just can't remember them. The Star Lady.
I know, and I can't either. And I'm sure it's like very simple, but I don't want to bog the podcast down in that. So let's just dance around the issue for when we can.
Yeah. Okay. So it's kind of funny that actually Rick becomes drunk Rick is the main antagonist of the episode.
It's Supernova. Wow, that's just goddamn super simple. I'm embarrassed.
I'm not surprised. Supernova.
Wow, right. And also Ghost Train guy is Alan Rails.
Okay.
And Million Ant Man is just Million Ants.
And we got Crocobot, right?
Yes, we got Crocubot, right? Yes, we got him right.
And Vance. And also Vance.
All right. Well, folks, this is why you should have the Wikipedia page before you go live on air. Have we learned a lesson today?
We have.
I'm basically talking to myself. Okay. So,
that's kind of funny. Like, I was almost expecting when the Rick Pod to be like, an alternate dimension Rick or something.
Say what now?
But then, I was expecting, when Rick, the recording of Rick showed up to announce that he had destroyed the Worldender and all that.
I
mean, I was almost kind of slightly, at least, expecting it to be in another alternate dimension Rick.
Right.
But then immediately when it said just that he was drunk, I was like, oh, that makes sense.
So again,
that's something.
Yeah.
That's totally something all kind of Ricks would do.
Right. Let's go into my favorite part of the episode, which is indeed the drunken Rick videos, which I can't stop laughing at. It's just this segment just does such a great job of showing just the progression one takes when they're drinking all night. You know what I mean? It starts out where he's a little tipsy. He's very tipsy. He's like, yeah, I'm going to teach you a lesson. We're going to play a little game, and you're going to have to match your character traits to, whatever. You get the idea.
Like he tries to sound deep.
Right. And then
but in reality, it's just coming off as just kind of stupid.
And then I think my favorite video is the one where he's in the Hawaiian shirt and he's just like, aloha. It means hello and goodbye in Hawaiian. But this video isn't about the definition of aloha, is it?
And then he's and then it's like the whole basketball's like, make it about yourselves or something. I don't know.
Oh God, I love that. I love that. It's like, yeah, by the time we get to that, he's just like, oh God, I'm so drunk. I don't know. Just why? Let's just make it simple. Just try and score some 3-pointers, and I don't know. Make sure you learn a lesson about yourselves. Yeah.
and also this drunkenly slapped together neutrino bomb, which apparently Morty implies he had to take care of more than once.
Right. Also, I love
because when he tries to ask it, how many? Too many, Rick. Too many.
I love how at the end of the Hawaii video, he's just like, and also Hawaii.
He's like, if you didn't get the point before.
It's like, I just love the fact that drunken Rick just, he just thought that the Hawaiian shirt is just something that he had to go with to complete the design of, to complete the message.
I think he even had a lay on him.
Right. Now, Jacob, you know what I'm just realizing now is that this episode is also a parody of Suicide Squad.
I guess it kind of is, maybe.
Because especially because the characters who died in the characters who died in Vindicators 2, because there's this whole joke, like when the episode first starts. First of all, I like I'm sorry folks, I know we're jumping ahead more than we usually do, but apologies for that. But I like how at the beginning of the episode Morty has the the nine Morty adventures and he gets to pick the 10th. And Rick's just like, oh, great. Fuck you, you little shit stain. Yeah, you're right. God damn it. It's like he's just so, he's like, I just love how Rick's like, oh, well, I can't really argue with that. You did earn the 10th adventure, Morty. Fuck.
well, at least Rick honored it. I mean, that's something nice that he did.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, let's see. God damn it, I had a point with going back to that opening scene.
Yeah, the Suicide Squad.
Oh yeah, right, with the Suicide Squad. Yeah, so the point was, then we get the joke where there was a Morty's like, we're gonna do Vindicators too. There's only the great Justin Roiland can deliver a line like that. And after and then we discover that the Vindicators already had a sequel without Rick and Morty. And Morty's just crushed by that. And I'm sorry, Dragon. This is my long-winded way of getting to Suicide Squad. So we find out that the 3 people who died during Vindicators 2 are Lady Katana, Calypso, and Diablo Verde. And 2 of the 3 sound very suspiciously like Suicide Squad characters.
Kind of does. I just now that you mention it.
And also, the only other reason I bring up Suicide Squad is just because of the whole thing where, the characters are, like, progressively getting killed off. Suicide Squad doesn't kill off the characters as much as this one does, but I feel like especially with the Christian Slater character, the way he goes out is very much like the way that Slipknot goes out in Suicide Squad. He tries to escape, but then just gets like viciously killed immediately after he tries to escape the situation.
Yeah, though honestly, I do admit that gag did drag on for a little bit. It was funny at first, but then just carried on.
Well, I just like the idea that, of course, the first person that's going to die in a situation like this is the stand-in for Star-Lord. Of course, just to throw everyone off their game.
Like I said, it was funny at first, but just like kind of dragged on, especially when it was like yeah, yes, we get it. He's dead. He's dragging his legs are dragging across the ceiling. We get it.
Yeah.
Like I said, usually this show doesn't drag on gags very long, but that one, it just kind of shows when they do.
It didn't mind. It didn't bother me at all, but I guess that's just a subjectivity thing.
I think it didn't bother me. I'm just saying it just kind of lost its humor.
Yeah,
a little after.
Yeah. I'm sorry. You kind of.
That's really only my major complaint with this episode.
God damn this migraine! I'm so sorry, folks. I'm getting performance anxiety once again, like I was getting with Welcome to the Wayne.
I think we were talking about the basketball game. What happened after that?
Yeah, I guess just in terms of the way the characters get killed off, like I said, I like the progression of that. I don't know.
Yeah, Crocobot guesses something wrong, and because something to do with Israel, and the Geo pull in how.
Oh God, I love how nervous Rick gets about that.
He's like,
so you see,
not even like.
So you see, Drunken Rick isn't anti-Semitic at all. In fact, I'm sure Drunken Rick is so non-anti-Semitic that when Drunken Rick gets into the drunken state, he just has to champion the Jews, Morty. That's exactly what's going on.
Like, it's like he like gets so nervous and like defensive about it, but even in Million Ants is like no, no, I'm not getting into this. You do you. He's like, I'm not getting in the middle of this.
Sorry, folks. I guess it's just hard to talk about this episode because there is a lot of stuff going on throughout it. Of course, we have the whole subplot between Million Ants and Alan Rails, and then that love triangle thing that kind of develops.
Which was pretty interesting.
Not so much a love triangle, more just Alan Rails just randomly bringing up crap from the past, and
yeah, that's why that's one reason why I think he's more of the Drax than anyone else.
I guess so. Yeah. I mean, it especially makes sense, like I said, with Crocubot being the the half cybergenetic creature that kind of fits the because everyone else I think is pretty obvious. Oh God, I guess the only other thing to get into from my end, and like I said, folks, I'm terribly sorry. I just don't think I'm on my A game tonight. I mean, we did such a good job talking about DuckTales, Jacob.
Yeah.
But
what kind of sold me on this episode was like the whole ending, where it's like where was like where the like place on there the thing he cares about most, and like it's like he's even drunken. He's even states that he might have been Morty, but it turns out to be Noob.
Okay, that is definitely my favorite scene of the episode, and it might honestly be my favorite scene of the entire season so far, because I love how that plays with the expectations. And honestly, Jacob, it's a very touching moment before the reveal. You know what I mean? Because it's just like, Rick is just like he really is showing his vulnerable side. Like, yeah, looks like this is the last time I'm going to see you. I mean, you just love these people so much, and I can't play with the hero types, and I don't think they want me around anymore. But listen, I want you to thrive. I want you to go on without me, and I just wanted to, I guess in my own weird drunken way, just show that I care. And I just really wanted you to know that even though I didn't know you for long, I really appreciated when you stood my ground when we were talking the other day. Noob. I mean, you just seem like such an awesome guy. We really should have hung out sometime. And oh God, I don't usually get emotional, but I mean, even my own grandson was sitting there just laying into me. And like I said, it's just...
and Morty's reaction just tells it. That motherfucker.
Like I said, I love how elaborate it's all set up. Like, it totally seems like it's something for Morty, right? Because he basically sets up this whole elaborate, like, going away dark ride, right? Like it's like all this, like goodbye, like go out and save the world, all these all these superhero like saving the world kind of set pieces in dark ride form. It's like he went all out, and he's pouring his heart and soul out here.
Have you ever really seen Rick cry that way before?
No, not really.
And it's for Noob.
God damn!
Only Noob saw that.
Oh, God. And then, of course, the whole punchline of the episode is, after they get out of it, it's just he puts on a giant dance party, and Logic is there. The real life rapper Logic just happens to be there.
And even like Beth and Summer are there too.
For some reason, yeah, they just,
He's like, looks like Grandpa got shit faced again.
Yeah.
Oh,
and of course, the stinger of the whole episode is who the fuck is Noob?
Oh yeah, that was great. What I like about that is he's like no supernovas getting away. It's like Morty, all these people, like I have a lot of people that want to kill me. So I'm getting high with them midway through the week.
Right. So yeah, just overall thoughts on this episode. I think even though I'm not really explaining my thought process well, I blame the migraine. I'm so sorry, folks. I get performance anxiety and whatnot, but Yeah, I think this is a very strong episode. The ending has a lot to do with it. Like I said, that kind of reversal of like you think this show is going to give us like a really touching, heartfelt moment between Rick and Morty, but it's like nope. Just kind of pulls the rug out from under us on that.
But then we remember this is Rick we're talking about.
Oh yeah. So like I said, just that element alone kind of makes me really like this episode. On top of just, I love all the drunken Rick stuff. Like I said, I think it's a very, yeah, go ahead.
Drunk Rick is funny Rick.
Yes.
Or best. Drunk Rick is best Rick.
I mean, I honestly think this version, like this interpretation of Rick getting progressively more drunk is one of the most realistic depictions of what it's like to be shit-faced that this show's ever given to Rick, I think. Just the way he gets progressively worse and worse.
And it's still said that drunk Rick is still more progressive, still more productive than I am.
Oh yeah, I mean, wait, yeah, dude. I mean, drunk Rick, like, you know, he was gonna like blow up the planet, and he had all these elaborate traps and booby traps and games and whatnot set up, and all this timing. You know, like the whole like when they're trying to score the baskets. You know, it's like there's a 3-pointer, you got another 3-pointer. You know, it's like
I think it probably would have been better. He probably would have pulled it off a lot more successfully if he was sober.
And he did this all in the course of a night as well. So yeah, I mean,
like drunk Rick is more productive in one night than I am in my entire life. Basically.
Pretty much, yeah.
Drunk all Rick, right. We are not worthy, drunk Rick.
Yeah, so
we should treat drunk Rick as an entirely separate character.
Much like Pickle Rick.
Maybe. Because he's Pickle Rick.
He's Pickle Rick. Yeah. So yeah, overall, I thought this episode was definitely really good. It was a great sort of parody. I kind of laughed equally at the Saw stuff and the Guardian stuff. And, you know, it also was a good kind of development into the Morty side of things. I definitely think the big running plot of the season is going to be Morty kind of like disassociating more and more with Rick and becoming more and more bitter with Rick as the season goes on. So this was a great kind of progress in that.
That's kind of what I'm saying, because I think he even put it as like, it doesn't matter if you're right. It doesn't matter if anyone's right or something like that. I don't know. He's like, it's like, you always have to be right, Rick.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, even at the cost of anything else, he always has to be right.
All right, final thoughts on your end, Jacob?
I mean, like I said, I definitely do like this episode. I mean, probably not as much as Pickle Rick or Rick Shank Redemption, but like I said, definitely better than Rick Mancing the Stone.
Sure. All right, so next week is an episode I'm very excited about. It is the Whirly Durly Conspiracy, and that's going to be Rick and Jerry spending a day at a very, very dangerous, life-threatening amusement park.
Oh, God.
I just love Rick and Jerry episodes. Rick and Jerry episodes are some of my favorite.
Who knows? We can only imagine what kind of stuff they're going to get into there.
Yeah. All right, folks.
Especially considering the whole divorce subplot.
Right. All right, folks. Well, thanks so much for joining us. I'm sorry that on my end I wasn't as good as I probably could have been with the of getting through all this. I feel like drunk Rick myself. I feel kind of incoherent. I feel like I'm kind of talking through a fog, but hopefully you guys got some enjoyment out of this. And look for us soon. We'll be doing Star versus the Forces of Evil. Welcome to the Wayne. We'll be continuing on with Rick and Morty. DuckTales when that comes back. I still can't believe we have to wait over a month for a new DuckTales trek, and I'm kind of cheesed off about that. Jacob, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
All right. And also, Hawaii!